Led by the direction of U.S. President Barack Obama, the United States is demonstrating its efforts and transparency on its commitment to nuclear disarmament by reducing nuclear weapons, ceasing the production of weapons materials, among numerous U.S. initiatives towards strengthening what it calls the nuclear security enterprise. Thomas P. D'Agostino, National Security Administrator, outlined these initiatives and others to UN audience on Tuesday.
The U.S. is taking significant steps towards administrating and putting in place the President's vision articulated in his Prague speech in April of 2009 of a world without nuclear weapons. Looking to the future, we're going to continue to focus on preventing further proliferation, with really a special emphasis on nuclear terrorism, or what I call nuclear counterterrorism, efforts to ensure that this material doesn't fall into the wrong hands, and more importantly, how do we prevent that and work together as a group of nations, a community of nations, to make sure that happens. We're of course going to seek to strengthen our regional security architectures and increase our nuclear deterrence, non-nuclear deterrence capabilities in line with the 2010 Nuclear Posture Review. Our partnership with Russia on nuclear reductions will continue, and eventually we'll seek to bring other nuclear weapon states in with the goal of eventual elimination of nuclear weapons worldwide.
The United States has dismantled nearly 9,000 nuclear weapons since 1994, with 7,000 more weapons being retired and awaiting dismantling, clearing more than 84% of its nuclear weapons since 1990. To put this into perspective, the U.S. has 5,113 nuclear weapons today, as compared to 31,255 in 1967, and is working with nuclear states like Russia with the START Treaty Initiative and the UK and Norway on ensuring verification measures within the process of nuclear disarmament.
Verification, let me explain, is key to nuclear disarmament in the sense that Article 6 of the NPT asks for disarmament under strict and effective international control. And that's actually a lot more complicated than you might think, because if you're going to invite other non-nuclear weapon states in to verify that dismantlement of nuclear weapons is actually happening, it's not an easy thing. It's just to kind of get them in and show them, look, this is a nuclear weapon, and now we're taking it apart. So verification is really quite a complex thing, because you can't proliferate the kind of sensitive information that's involved in a nuclear weapon. So the UK-Norway work, the work that we've been taking forward with Norway since 2007, is really in support of nuclear disarmament, is a key element of it. I mean, if we're ever going to get to the UK and the US's stated aim of a world without nuclear weapons, then we're going to need the verification arrangements that allow that to happen.
A signature goal of President Obama has been to start an effort to negotiate a fissile material cutoff treaty, which would be a global treaty that would make legally binding a cap on the production of fissile material, which of course is the essential building blocks for nuclear weapons. And again, this is what the administrator is doing, since we haven't.
Right.
He dismantles and disposes of this fissile material.
Our goal here ultimately is to be very transparent about what the United States is doing in this area. And Ambassador Kennedy has provided an environment by which we can lay out our cards on the table. This is how we're doing this. This is what it takes to dismantle a nuclear weapon. This is how hard the job is. These are commitments out in the future, 10 years out into the future, of taking down 374 metric tons of highly enriched uranium, making it permanently not available for nuclear weapons, or making sure that over 51 metric tons of plutonium is not available for use for nefarious purposes. So our goal is to be very transparent, to answer questions that the delegation members may have, and get into the nuts and bolts of what it takes to take care of a nuclear weapons stockpile without underground testing.
The U.S. is also recycling excess weapons materials and using material for civilian energy use, including electrical power and for technology and engineering research and space reactors, while continuing to foster bilateral and multilateral dialogue and initiatives with numerous countries. Mr. D'Agostino informed participants that the U.S. is on its way to becoming a nuclear weapons-free state by 2020. Amongst the U.S.'s various initiatives initiatives, the START Treaty sets the stage for the further reductions of stockpiles, therefore creating the environment for a safer world. Afaf Kanja for South South News here at the United Nations.